I'm Azara Tagaya and this is Nightline, the top stories. Ministry working to revert start of academic year to January. And controversial Thai hot guy event cancelled. Good morning. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah and Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Haja Aziza Amina Maimuna Iskandaria extended their Ramadan greetings to all Muslims in the country on Wednesday, reminding them to not waste food when breaking fast during the Ramadan month. In a post on the Istana Negara Facebook page, the King and Queen said food, especially from the breaking of fast, is a major contributor to waste during the month, and this is against the spirit of Ramadan, which teaches Muslims to be modest and not wasteful. Al-Sultan Abdullah and Tunku Aziza also urged the Muslim community to increase charitable activities and not divulge in non-beneficial activities or be extravagant in spending, as well as to greet the holy month with a sense of repentance, gratitude and blessings that God has bestowed upon them. Earlier, the keeper of the ruler's seal, Tan Sri Syed Daniel Syed Ahmad, announced that Muslims in Malaysia will begin fasting on Thursday. He also said the starting date of the fast for states throughout Malaysia was set on the order of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong after being consented to by the rulers. In other news, school canteens have been advised to continue operating throughout the month of Ramadan. Education Minister Fadlina Siddiq said this is because, in addition to respecting non-Muslim students during Ramadan, not all Muslim children are required to fast, especially at an early age.
Okay. Buka. Saya sarankan untuk terus buka dan bincang dengan pihak sekolah. Sebab saya pasti ada kanak-kanak yang Muslim juga tidak berpuasa di awal umur. Yang memang tidak ada kewajipan kepada mereka untuk berpuasa, melainkan mereka ingin berpuasa kerana ingin belajar berpuasa. Jadi kalau mereka tidak ada kekuatan untuk puasa, mereka boleh maknanya untuk tidak berpuasa dan kantin harus buka untuk meraihkan mereka.
She said there's also a need for canteens to remain open so that non-Muslim students would have a place to eat their food properly during recess. She was asked about a canteen operator's recommendation that canteens in schools which have less than 10% non-Muslim students need not open during Ramadan. Association of School Canteen Operators Secretary General Siti Norma Desa was quoted as saying that if the school canteens remain open, their low revenue during Ramadan would be unable to cover their operating costs. Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim has urged the Organisation of Islamic Cooperation OIC to take decisive action in dealing with the issue of Islamophobia. The Prime Minister said this was among the views he had voiced out personally when receiving a courtesy call from OIC Secretary General Hussein Brahim Taha and his delegation on Wednesday in conjunction with his 3-day official visit to Saudi Arabia.
Islamophobia ini adalah sikap melampau, benci dan anti-Islam yang tidak mensabar, tidak siuman, kerana dia mengambil sikap yang agak benci terhadap semua penganut Islam dan memandang rendah dan menghina agama dan pegangan umat.
Datuk Seri Anwar said this to the Malaysian media after the courtesy call, which was also attended by Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Zamri Abdul Kadir and Communications and Digital Minister Fahmi Fazil. The Prime Minister gave his assurance that Malaysia would continue to play a role not only as an active member of the OIC, but also as one of the founding countries of the organisation in dealing with various issues faced by Muslims globally. He also said he had raised the issue of Palestine by stating Malaysia's commitment to continue supporting the struggle for the rights of the people of that country, in addition to wanting close cooperation between Malaysia and the OIC on the matter. The Education Ministry is working towards reverting the start of the academic year to January instead of March. Its Minister Fadlina Siddiq, however, said the matter could not yet be implemented since it is necessary to complete various justifications based on compliance with the Education Act.
Jadi kita menuju pada Januari semula. Ya, itu daripada KPM, itu jaminan daripada KPM. Cuma kita perlukan sedikit masa. Pertamanya kerana kita perlu mematuhi akta pendidikan bahawa kanak-kanak ini mesti bersekolah sekurang-kurangnya 190 hari. Yang kedua, kita juga perlu pastikan beberapa episod peperiksaan, SPM khususnya, yang tidak mengganggu kitaran anak-anak ini, dan juga beberapa faktor ekonomi yang lain. Ya.
She added that the ministry took note of the grouses voiced by parents on the issue, but stressed that the ministry would require some time to iron out the details. She was speaking to reporters after attending the handover ceremony of Yayasan Petronas' 2023 back-to-school packs at Sekolah Pendidikan Khas Lelaki Jalan Batu on Wednesday. The program is targeted to benefit 21,000 students from low-income families across Malaysia. Meanwhile, on the issue of school dropouts, Fadlina said legal action is not the best solution against parents whose children drop out of school. Instead, she said advocacy programs to increase parents' awareness and understanding of the challenges they may face in sending their children to school are better approaches. In this regard, Fadlina said the ministry would continue to engage parents on the importance of completing their children's education.
KPM akan memastikan bahawa kita selarilah dengan ibu bapa ini juga, maknanya memberikan peringatan dalam masa yang sama memastikan bahawa mereka tidak ada isu untuk menghantar anak mereka ke sekolah.
She stressed that even though there are legal implications pertaining to such matters, the ministry would emphasize on giving parents more understanding on the importance of secondary education for their children. The Thai Hot Guy event, scheduled to be held for the opening of an entertainment outlet in the capital on March 30th, has been cancelled following a police directive amid opposition from various parties. The organisers and management of the club located at Jalan Tun Razak have agreed to call off the controversial entertainment event following a meeting with authorities at 2:30 p.m. on Wednesday. In a statement, Wangsa Maju Police Chief Superintendent Ashari Abu Sama said a stern warning has been given to the organisers on the matter. He added police will continue to monitor the premises and will take strict action if there is a violation of the law. The promotion of the event, featuring hunky male waiters clad in skimpy women's outfits from a popular Bangkok restaurant, had been slammed on various social media platforms. At least 60 police reports have been lodged by various quarters who objected to the event from taking place in the country in the month of Ramadan. Meanwhile, following the cancellation of the event, Privacy Tun Razak has issued an apology to the public regarding the viral issue, which had sparked negative reactions from the public. The club said it respected the racial and religious sensitivities in the country and will not violate the law. The management of the bar and restaurant also apologized over the distribution of the promotional material for the event, adding that it was done without consent.
Semarakkan sokongan anda untuk Harimau Malaya. Siri Persahabatan Antarabangsa. Secara langsung hanya di TV9 dan Astro saluran 149.
Filling out paperwork, obtaining licenses. Having multiple people or committees approve a decision that delays almost everything. Are these excessive, rigid or redundant? The Prime Minister says Malaysia can be great again. But then, what does it take for the nation to cut red tape and bureaucracy? Join us on Money Matters this Saturday at 5 p.m. only on TV3.
The inaugural meeting of the National Biodiversity Council, MBN1, has agreed that the proposed formation of the Malaysia Biodiversity Centre, MBC, be referred to the Cabinet for its consideration. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Fadillah Yusof said this was aimed at improving biodiversity management in the country and realising the establishment of the Natural History Museum, Malaysia.
Dan sebanyak 3 kertas pertimbangan dan 4 kertas makluman yang telah dibincangkan dan diberi pandangan dan juga ulasan oleh setiap ahli mesyuarat tadi yang berhubung kait dengan pertama tema rujukan Majlis Biodiversiti Negara, yang kedua penyelarasan Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework yang ke dalam dasar kepelbagaian biologi kebangsaan 2016-2025.
Datuk Sri Fadila said this to reporters at the Parliament building after chairing the inaugural MBN1 meeting on Wednesday. The meeting also stressed the importance of making biodiversity management a mainstream endeavour through a whole-of-nation approach involving the national, state and community levels. He also said that the government remained committed to ensuring that more than 50% of forests are preserved. He added that this commitment was also echoed at the state government level, which is not to undertake deforestation for cultivation, especially involving commodities. The My First Home scheme, introduced by the government to assist eligible young Malaysians to own their first home without having to pay any down payment, will end on April 1st. This means that first-time house buyers would have to prepare a 10% deposit of the property price, just like any other house buyer. Chagamas Berhad, however, said interested applicants may still submit their home loan applications by March 31st. According to the National Mortgage Corporation, more than 90,000 applicants have successfully secured home financing through the scheme, with over 90% of them coming from the B40 category and individuals aged between 25 and 40. The scheme was announced in 2011 to help Malaysians with a monthly gross income of less than 10,000 ringgit to own their first home. The property must be occupied by the buyer and cannot be rented out to third parties. Buyers are also required to take out insurance or takaful coverage against fire incidents. Former UMNO Youth Chief Dato' Ashraf Wajdi Dusuki was appointed as the party's new Secretary-General, replacing Dato' Sri Ahmad Maslan. Its President, Dato' Sri Ahmad Zaid Hamidi, announced that Dato' Sri Azalina Osman Said had been made the new Information Chief to replace Isham Jalil, while Dato' Sri Tengku Adnan Tengku Mansor retained his post as Treasurer-General.
Dengan pelantikan ini, kami berazam untuk menterjemahkan 5 hala tuju yang telah saya garis bawahi ketika saya membentangkan ucapan dasar dalam PAU Perhimpunan Agung UMNO yang lalu, di mana kita telah memberikan penugasan ini kepada beberapa ahli-ahli majlis dan juga Ketua Sekretariat yang telah saya sebutkan.
Dato' Sri Ahmad Zahid made the announcement after chairing the first meeting of the UMNO Supreme Council following the recent party elections at Menara Dato' On in Kuala Lumpur on Wednesday. The Deputy Prime Minister also revealed the appointment of 13 additional members on the council, including Tan Sri Shahrizad Abdul Jalil, Tan Sri Muhammad Fatmi Cik Saleh, Dato' Ahmad Ismail and Dato' Nur Jazlan Muhammad. The party president also unveiled the new state chairman lineup, among them Dato' Megat Zulkarnain Omar Din as Selangor Chief, Dato' Sri Johari Abdul Ghani as Federal Territory Chief and Dato' Sri Mazir Khalid as Kedah Chief. Home Minister Dato' Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail on Wednesday confirmed that Dato' Sri Muhammad Najib Tun Razak has been given a release for a few days to undergo medical treatment at the Kuala Lumpur Hospital HKL. He said that the former Prime Minister had obtained permission from the Prisons Department for that purpose.
Semalam KP penjara maklumkan saya, benar beliau dibawa ke hospital untuk menjalani rawatan yang bersabit dengan kesihatannya. Bergelar tahanan sekalipun tidak menghilangkan hak dia untuk mendapatkan rawatan. Saya fikir itu cara kaedah KDN, khususnya Jabatan Penjara, menguruskan hal seperti ini.
On Tuesday, it was reported that Dato' Sri Najib received treatment at HKL a few days ago, believed to be due to a lung infection. In August last year, the Pekan MP began a 12-year prison sentence after losing his final appeal against his conviction on multiple counts of abuse of power, criminal breach of trust and money laundering for the misappropriation of SRC international funds. Severe sandstorm engulfs Beijing as air pollution soars to hazardous levels. This and more from the Foreign Front when we come back. Boris Johnson came out fighting on Wednesday as he swore to tell the truth and denied deliberately misleading the Commons over Partygate. Parliament's Committee of Privileges is investigating whether Johnson, who was ousted from Downing Street in September, intentionally or recklessly misled Parliament in a series of statements about the rule-breaking parties. The former leader is kicking off a 4-hour showdown with the Privileges Committee as he battles to clear his name with the threat of a by-election hanging over his head. If the committee finds Johnson intentionally misled the Parliament, he could be suspended from the House of Commons, the lower house of Parliament. The committee on Wednesday has published what it calls a core bundle of evidence that is expected to be referred to during the hearing. At least 14 people have been confirmed dead so far after a 6.5 magnitude quake struck towns across northern Afghanistan and Pakistan on Tuesday, damaging buildings and triggering landslides. In Pakistan, 10 people were killed with 44 others injured, whilst in neighbouring Afghanistan, another 4 were killed and 50 others injured. The quake was felt over an area of more than 1,000 kilometres wide by some 285 million people in Pakistan, India, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Afghanistan and Turkmenistan. The epicenter was in the Hindu Kush mountains in the sparsely populated northeastern Afghan province of Badakhshan, 40 kilometers southeast of Jum village. The number of deaths is expected to rise as search and rescue teams reach more affected villages, especially villages in remote areas. A severe sandstorm has swept across China's capital city of Beijing and several northern provinces, blanketing the region in thick clouds of dust and sending air pollution soaring to hazardous levels. Authorities noted that the pollution was largely being caused by airborne particles called PM10, which are small enough to be inhaled and can aggravate a range of health issues, including respiratory issues. The PM10 particles hit 1,667 micrograms per cubic meter on Wednesday, more than 37 times the daily average guideline of 45 micrograms per cubic meter set by the World Health Organization. Weather authorities in Beijing warned people not to go outdoors for exercise and other activities and have asked drivers to stay vigilant and reduce speed because of low visibility.
적대 세력들의 군사적 위협이 노골화되고 있는
Still to come, Pan Gon expects interesting match against Turkmenistan's tactical mystery. nerves of steel to outlast newly crowned All England champion Li Shifeng of China in a pulsating battle to reach the second round of the Swiss Open. The world number 4 recovered from a game down to clinch a morale-boosting 18-21, 21-18, 23-21 win in 72 minutes at the St. Jacobsschale in Basel on Thursday. Earlier, national men's doubles pair Aaron Chia, So Woo Yik were victorious on the first day of the Swiss Open. The top-seeded duo notched a comfortable 21-10, 21-10 victory over home pair Arthur Boudier, Min Chuang Pham to move into the second round. Third seeds Ong Yu Sin, Teo Yi were also dominant in their opening match to secure progression to the last 16. The duo dispatched Alexander Dunn, Adam Hall of Scotland 22-20, 21-13. However, it was the end of the road for women's doubles pair Pearly Tan M. Tina'a, who suffered another first-round exit in Europe. The pair, who lost in the first round of the All England last week, suffered a 15-21, 21-14, 16-21 defeat against Chinese Taipei's Li Chia-sin, Deng Chun-sun. National head coach Kim Pan-gon admitted that he was facing difficulties in deciding the starting lineup against Turkmenistan, as all of his players are currently in their best shape and ready to play. This time, Pan-gon is bringing a total of 27 players, including 9 players who played in the AFF Cup 2022 and strengthened by 8 new faces, such as 2 naturalized players, Paulo Josue and Endrick Dos Santos, young defender Mohammad Feroz Baharudin and Noah Lane.
To me, I'm very confident. Anyone, they can be first 11. So at this moment, I think since Dion joined, we complete all the squad here. So I feel that everybody very fit. So I think I'm headache, to make a first 11 and 23 player for the games.
Meanwhile, Pan-gon said he deliberately chose one stronger team and another of equivalent strength to the national team as their upcoming friendly match opponents. The South Korean-born coach said his team stood to gain valuable experience and ranking points from their Tier 1 international friendlies. Harimau Malaya, ranked 145th, will meet Turkmenistan, ranked 135th, at the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium in Iskandar Putri on Thursday night, before facing Hong Kong, ranked 146th, on March 28th at the same venue. He added that the 2 friendlies would show how eager the national team are to prepare for next year's Asian Cup, as well as the 2026 World Cup qualifiers, which are scheduled to start in November. Coming up, shabu worth almost 18 million ringgit seized in Kelantan. Kelantan police have seized shabu worth nearly 18 million ringgit in an operation on Tuesday night. Kelantan Deputy Police Chief Dato' Azman Ayub said the drugs were found inside a van abandoned along Jalan Wan Ahmad in Tanah Merah. He said a police party comprising the General Operations Force 9th Battalion was conducting Ops Wawasan when it spotted the suspected vehicle at about 9:30 p.m. Upon inspection, the officers discovered 13 gunny sacks containing shabu inside the vehicle. The drugs, weighing about 499 kilograms, were believed to have been smuggled from a neighboring country. Dato' Azman said initial investigations showed that the van used a fake registration number. He added that the police would continue to step up its operations during Ramadan and Hari Raya Aidilfitri to curb smuggling activities, particularly in beefing up its operations along the Kelantan-Thai border. Former Bersatu Information Chief Datuk Wan Saiful Wan Jan will file a representation to the Attorney General's Chambers AGC on 2 graft charges he is facing in relation to the Jana Wibawa project. The matter was informed by his lawyer, Datuk Rosal Azimin Ahmad, during the first mention of the case before Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court Judge Rosina Ayob on Wednesday. Deputy Public Prosecutor Muhammad Afif Ali also said the prosecution had handed over some documents to the defence in accordance with Section 51A of the Criminal Procedure Code on Wednesday. However, some other documents, such as banking documents and documents from the Companies Commission of Malaysia SSM, will be submitted later. Previously, Datuk Wan Saiful, who is also Tasik Gelugur MP, pleaded not guilty to 2 charges of soliciting and receiving bribes of 6.9 million ringgit for helping a company secure a project worth 232 million ringgit from the government. The court fixed May 8th for next mention of the case. In Selangor, a 9-year-old girl was killed after she was hit by a trailer on her way home from school in Kampung Teluk Hong, Port Klang on Wednesday. The victim and her 7-year-old brother were riding pillion on a motorcycle when the incident occurred. State Fire and Rescue Department Director Morni Mamat said the department received a distress call at 11:25 a.m. A team of personnel and officers from the Klang Fire and Rescue Station was immediately deployed to the scene. It was learnt that a 54-year-old woman who was the children's babysitter had fetched them both from school when the motorcycle they were riding on was hit by the trailer. Both the woman and the boy suffered minor injuries, while the girl died at the scene. The girl's remains were handed over to the police for further action, while the 2 other victims were sent to Tengku Ampuan Rahimah Hospital for treatment. Time to gather and observe the 9th month of the Islamic calendar by abstaining from indulgence and excess. The month is sacred because it marks when the first chapters of the Quran were brought down to the Prophet Muhammad. I'm Azara Tagaya, and on behalf of the Nightline team, we wish you selamat berpuasa and selamat bersahur.